If I may jump in, I mean, this is an incredible story, and I just get curious how it is like how it feels like being you in all these experiences. And would you say that, or how did your view on reality perhaps change from before the ND and after ND? Like, how do you perceive the world differently today than you did before the NDE?
Well, it was 45 years ago, but 10 seconds after I came back, I realized, wow, I'm never going to see life the same. This has changed me forever. I didn't know how or what. It took me, like I said, some time to cool off, but I realized, first of all, I was interested in psychic ability. I was already giving readings to people. I started giving readings in the early 70s with a regular deck of playing cards. My own system, you know. So I was aware of psychic ability at the time. It started increasing. My curiosity increased. I will never have the level of psychic ability I had in that 1 week prior to the near-death experience, but it was too much to handle. It was flawless, perfectly and clear, but too much to handle. You know, like trying to carry 3,000 pounds in your backpack instead of 10. you know?
But it is interesting that you had all these mystical experiences before the NDE. And it seems like then that this was planned, that it's a destiny there, that you were supposed to have this experience because it seemed like the monitors were prepping you for it.
Absolutely. But I had the choice. I had the choice whether to continue to pursue it. One of my roommates once mentioned during this week that I was going through a peak experience and maybe should see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. That lasted about a half a second. I thought, no psychiatrist is going to understand this. No psychologist is going to understand this. This is beyond human. I can't even describe it hardly, how intense it is. So, yeah, I feel very lucky, but I also want to inspire other people that you are also connected to this infinite mind. We are all connected. And if you want to tap into it, you got to practice, just like if you want to learn to play golf or piano or drive, you got to A, make a decision, B, practice. 3, when you develop skill because of practice and decision, no matter what it is, swimming or spiritual growth, then you can take big steps because you already got the basics. You learn the basics of music, you can write complicated music.
I find it fascinating in a way that they said that you wished for it, you asked for it, you were curious. And then I'm thinking a lot of other people are curious as well. But maybe, maybe it is in your destiny, your soul plan. Maybe your intention and desire is really, really pure and deep. And maybe it has something to do with like how profound the intention is. I don't know. It just seems
Oh, it
like
is. Absolutely. I agree with every bit of that because I could have stayed electrical engineer. I could have probably been, I was a great Fortran COBOL RPG assembly language programmer in 68, 69, and 70. But because of the Vietnam War, I served as a conscientious objector and played music. Now, I could have maybe gone back into the technological world. Maybe I'd have been a Microsoft founder, who knows? But I didn't feel like I wanted to be locked into that. I wanted to experience life. I wanted to challenge myself. I knew I didn't have the natural gifts to be a rock star, so it was, but at least I wanted to travel and have fun and not be in traffic and, experience life. And my whole adult life, most of it was as a musician. I've always been given readings, but it's about the last 20 years I've done it more professionally. And about 15 years ago, I quit playing music. My back, I'm old. I'm tired of hearing myself. I ain't a good singer. I learned to be a good entertainer. I taught myself piano, learned to make people laugh. But I knew I'd never get a record deal. But you know what? I always had faith that if I did my part and I really wanted to play music and travel and have fun, that I could do it. Why shouldn't I? I knew I'd be a working musician at best, but like 99% of the world's musicians, they ain't stars. They're workers. They're the drummer, the bass player, you know. But that was good enough for me to travel and have fun. Like I told you, I lived in Copenhagen, lived in Europe, traveled all over, played the cruise ships, Sweden, Norway, you know, Estonia, England.
I'd
Loved
love
it.
to go back to your near death experience. You mentioned that you are on the edge of the universe, and then I get very curious right there. So, one, there's an edge of our universe, and what's outside? You said you saw other universes. I'm so curious. What did you see? What is out there?
Infinite, infinite. Now, the physicists, of course, and I study quantum physics. You know, I'm an engineer. I don't get into math anymore, but the concept of the smallest of the small, that is the interface between the non-physical and the physical. And I saw that in 1977 staring at my wall. I went right inside an atom, right inside a subatomic particle, right inside the very basis of creativity that makes that subatomic particle. I went to that depth, and I know now science is starting to realize, wow, what makes the subatomic particles? They're having to deal with this thing called consciousness that they don't like, and it doesn't fit into formulas. But you know what? That's how life came about. Like just about every person who's had a near-death experience, and I've studied a lot, and I've read a lot, and I've talked to a lot of them, I'm on a lot of panels, 99% say the one thing in common is infinite love. Every experience is different, but 99% of the people say, wow, I experienced infinite love. And the irony is, and again, science will never be able to fill in this gap, but infinite love manifested into infinite creativity that manifested into independence, freedom, like you, like me, free will, individual souls. It's all infinite mind looking at itself in infinite ways. That's who we are.
And you said something about that when we die, we expand, and when we come down to this incarnation, we sort of come from all over the place, and we become this small part. And then I'm puzzled because to me, I'm like, don't I come from that place or that place? And then Yannick as a soul sort of goes down. But you said that we come from all over the place. Is it basically, are you saying that we are like when we die, we go totally back to all there is, source, God? We're
Correct.
instantly
Correct.
that, and then
Correct.
but aren't there levels of
Absolutely, there are levels. If you just look at the biology on the planet, we got billions of levels of life from amoeba to us. You know, there's infinite levels on that side too. Different people go to different levels, but there's not time like we think of it. But there is growth, there is progress. It's just not in time and space like we see it. And it's a completely different world. It's kind of hard to imagine, but use your imagination. Try, because we're all connected to it. We all came from there. We all have an umbilical cord to experience it. And if you meditate, ask your guides, believe that you can see it, and you got to practice just like golf or sex or driving or polo or raising your consciousness. You don't practice, you're not going to gain. But yeah, it's attainable. What I saw as the edge of the universe was like a concept, so to speak. There's really physicists won't say there's an edge of the universe, and technically there's not. But I was metaphysically going out. But yeah, I do believe that souls actually collapse and come in that way. They take an imprint of everything. You know, it's so fast, so instantaneously, and it's not related to the speed of light. You know, the physical thing. Because I was moving certainly faster than the speed of light.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.